Welcome everyone, this is Jed Schlackman. For today's video I'll be speaking about how we can create an environment, a social environment that promotes honesty and humility. If you wish to create that type of environment or atmosphere that's conducive to people displaying honesty and humility, then it's important to maintain compassion and to refrain from shaming, condemning, or humiliating others when you believe that they are mistaken or misbehaving. You can certainly bring attention to the action, but you can do that without belittling or ostracizing the person, their actual identity. And you can consider that everyone has the potential for reformation and transformation. So even when you need to confront and deliver consequences for what you're perceiving as negative actions by others, you can envision the positive potential that exists within them. Many people embrace this idea I'm sharing here when they're dealing with their own partner or their own children, but often don't apply it toward other people, toward strangers, even though really this same psychological and spiritual principle or dynamics would apply for everyone. And to illustrate this a little bit more, I'd like to give the example of a child. Suppose you have a child who's in school in a classroom, and the class takes a test, and the teachers now giving back the test results, giving feedback to the students on how they performed on that test. And there's a child in that class who did poorly on the test. They got a lot of the items incorrect on the test. So how is the teacher going to give this feedback and inform that child about the test result in a way that's constructive rather than in some way leading to a negative reaction or outcome from that child? So one thing to consider is that if the teacher is telling that child the grade in front of everyone, it's really easy for that child to feel ashamed or humiliated. So if you're told you got a D on the test in front of your peers, that's not really a very positive experience, right? Most of us wouldn't feel too good in that situation. So the child, if they did get a negative result, they probably don't want to share that with others. Of course, there are exceptions. There are children or students who don't mind getting poor grades or having their peers see that they got a poor grade. So it's not universal for everyone, but certainly that would be common. So that child also might be concerned about their parents, how their parents will react if they find out that the child received a poor grade. And there are many children who actually hide their school performance from the parents. So they'll hide a report card or a test result or some type of report showing that they're not completing their homework, whatever it might be. If there's some negative information about the child's school performance, the child might start to be dishonest, to be hiding that because they don't want additional negative feedback or judgment or condemnation. So in that case, giving that feedback to the child, if you're not doing it in a careful or mindful way, you could inadvertently be promoting some form of dishonest behavior in addition to the child feeling some form of shame or insecurity about their competence. So ideally, when you're giving feedback, you want to do it in a way that's not shaming or humiliating, but also to promote the potential for the positive. So if a child gets a poor grade on a test, rather than focusing on the grade, on the mistakes, you could focus on showing them what they could do to correct those errors, so that the next time that there's some form of assignment or test, they'll perform better and be able to get a positive result and be able to get positive feedback on their performance. So rather than getting caught up in judging or saying you're bad, you're incompetent, you can focus on presenting the idea that you're confident that that person will be able to improve, to transform and do better. And this is something we want to keep in mind, not just with children, but when interacting with adults. So if you're working at a job, if you're supervising someone, if you see someone's not performing the way you're expecting, you can give feedback in a way that isn't there to condemn them or shame them, but to show them that they can do better and that it will actually feel good to perform that task or that particular role in a way that's more desirable, let's say. With anyone that we're observing in the world around us, we can keep these ideas in mind, to have compassion for them, to understand that pretty much no one likes to be humiliated or shamed. People don't like to be condemned. And if we do approach things in a way that are trying to condemn or humiliate someone, they'll try to defend or protect themselves from that in some way. So it could drive them deeper into anxiety. It could drive them into dishonesty. It could lead to actually the opposite of what we're hoping to promote. So rather than that person doing better, they might start to have a negative feeling or attitude toward their classwork or their job tasks, whatever it is, and so they'll start to avoid it and end up performing even worse. So that wouldn't be what you're looking to foster. You're actually wanting to improve their attitude toward whatever you would wish for them to accomplish. So let's maintain this idea of having compassion and giving people the opportunity to actually acknowledge when they've performed poorly or made a mistake at something, so that they don't have to be ashamed to acknowledge that reality, but they can move past that and actually make a change that's positive and desirable. If we're busy trying to condemn people, we're not giving them that opportunity to be at ease with confronting the reality. We're actually pushing them toward avoiding or trying to deny or escape the reality. People don't usually like to admit that they're wrong or they made a mistake or that they've caused harm. But if we can create an atmosphere that makes it easier to do that, to not feel so shamed or humiliated about it, then people are more likely to actually be honest, to look at their actions or behaviors and make suitable improvements. So whether you're a parent with children, a teacher with students, an employer or a supervisor with workers that you're observing, or just any person looking at the performance of anyone in the world around you, observing their actions and behaviors, consider how you are reacting to them, whether you're getting caught up in your emotions and judging and condemning them, trying to shame or humiliate them, or you're seeking to communicate your feedback in a way that at least gives some greater opportunity or possibility for people to be receptive to that feedback, so that they can listen to what you want to share and consider that and perhaps apply your feedback toward making a positive change or improvement. I hope that this sharing here, this commentary, gives you some things to reflect on and will in some way support your relationships, your interactions with other people. For those that are interested in holistic health and personal growth and spirituality, I invite you to visit my webpage, phinsights.com. That's phinsights.com. For now, I wish each of you a wonderful day. Namaste.